After dark, baby.
Don't do it. Falling Knife Brewery Company. So that's where I was today. And I was so mad because all of their beers, mad in quotes, all of their beers have so much goddamn alcohol in it. I was like, I can have like 2 of these and drive home. I can't have much more. So then I just bought a bunch of these so I could take them home. Because I was like, God damn it, I can't drive after having like 3 8.7% beers. Like, fuck that.
It's Minnesota, isn't everybody driving after 3?
That's the problem.
Hey, speaking of that, we didn't get shut down by the Chinese government this week. That's good.
Okay, what was the whole issue with that?
You made some crack about the 1 kid policy or something like that. Speaking of warlords and terrible countries, dude, I'm pissed we can't watch AFCON.
I know. It sucks.
Stupid Bein Sports.
Like, what else do they do? They just hold like these random soccer events.
Who, Bein?
Yeah.
Well, they also do like the Premier League and stuff. Like in the UK, like they also like have the rights to a bunch of other things.
I thought that was only Sky Sports and NBCSN/USA.
Maybe you're right. I thought they were also that had like rights to other things. I just didn't think anyone had the rights to AFCON apparently.
Because for a while, like I had Fubo, so that you can stream it, and it was great for beIN because I could watch, La Liga, I could watch the Liga 1, but I was like, no, not worth it. It definitely it started as a soccer channel.
I just googled beIN and soccer, and then Premier League are the first 2 things that come up. So
yeah, they have the rights, I think, in France to the Premier League or something like that. But here in America, I'm looking at it right now, they have the rights to the Turkish Super League, the final of the Austrian Cup, the Coupe de France, and then the Copa Libertadores, Copa Sudamerica, Brazilian, like all that stuff. So what's a bigger tournament, AFCON or Copa Libertadores?
AFCON. It's a lot easier to pronounce.
I'd rather watch AFCON.
Yeah, I feel like South America, it's like, it's either going to be Brazil or Argentina, unless it's like a year where Uruguay or somebody's up, Colombia. But AFCON, you've got like 6 good teams, and it's, at any given time, and it like rotates. So you never know who's going to win. Like South Africa didn't qualify for the World Cup this year. There's some other big ones in Africa that didn't qualify, and it's like every year it's a shot.
Yeah, I think Cameroon, Senegal, and Egypt have to be some of the front runners this year, especially with some of the big names that they all have.
Ghana,
but yeah, Ghana's always in there.
Ivory
Algeria's
Coast.
always in there.
Yeah,
Nigeria.
Yes.
Nigeria is our boy still suiting up for Nigeria?
John Obi.
John Obi. Player coach.
Eto is like a president of something. I saw him in a suit. My little brother sent me a tweet of him as a picture in a suit for Cameroon in AFCON, and so he's something in there, and I absolutely loved it. So good to see Samuel Eto'o still kicking and still a part of the team.
I think that's
the other Pierre Weibo back in there as well now.
Weibo. I think that's half the thing is there's so many more likable people in AFCON than there are in South America.
So I was bummed when I found out that I couldn't watch AFCON, especially the fact that I'm off work, and I was like, oh sweet, I can throw this on, watch a couple of matches, but no, not the case.
Like I said, it was cool when they had La Liga, Ligue 1 from France, and they had a bunch of other kind of random shit. Like, it was cool, but no, then everything went to shit, and it's like, no.
I will say it's nice having just about everything on ESPN Plus, and just paying, like, you bundle it with Hulu and like all that other shit, and it's $15, and then you have literally like every league, every match. It's nice. I like it. Better than CBS. CBS can go fuck up.
Paramount Plus is trash.
Yeah, having all these streaming services sucks. I don't like it because it's like, to watch all of Chelsea, you need ESPN Plus, you need Paramount Plus, you need NBC Sports or whatever for those, and then you need Peacock as well. Am I missing anything?
Peacock. Well, no.
I think the Club World Cup is going to be on Fox.
Perfect. Which probably gets covered by a normal cable subscription. So,
we'll see that
has NBC Sports.
That's going to be in Qatar, right?
The World Cup is in Qatar. I don't know about the Club World Cup. I'm not sure.
Or Dubai or something. But so I remember the last time Chelsea were in the Club World Cup, and I remember getting up at 2 a.m. to watch matches. But I think they were playing in Japan or something. I'm just hoping I don't have to do that again. I'm too old to do that.
I feel like they were playing in like Portugal or like something like that.
Qatar. FIFA Club World Cup 2020 Qatar. No, that's not right.
It might be Qatar, because I remember it was like Al Ali is like the host club or something like that. Or Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I get all this.
UAE.
Yeah.
Is that Dubai?
Dubai is Dubai is, I think, the capital city.
Capital of UAE.
Yeah.
$10 says the main sponsor is Fly Emirates.
Hublot is the official timekeeper.
Oh, good.
Shout out to $25,000 watches.
Also, I know that you guys didn't watch the Arsenal game today. Let's just call out the fact that they were wearing all white. And when I say all white, I mean you couldn't see the sponsor, you couldn't see the number. I understand the sponsor not wanting to be seen on an Arsenal jersey. Don't get me wrong. But you couldn't see a damn thing on those jerseys. Like, they had just gone and gotten white t-shirts and white long sleeve shirts and just said, yeah, good enough.
I saw the pictures of that. What was the reason? What were they trying to accomplish with that?
It was
Personal
like
to wear all white kit and anti-knife crime initiative.
Yeah, it was like a positivity initiative or something like that, and they're not going on sale.
No more red is what it like
is.
That was the slogan.
Like no more blood. That's fine.
Is stabbing such an issue at the Emirates that they have to, like, Jesus? That seems like a really niche thing.
So their tweets
stabbing their eyes out trying to watch an Arsenal match, but that's about it.
Last year saw a record number of teenagers murdered in London. It's time to make a real change through real action. Our white shirt is not for sale, not for profit, no more red. That was what the official Arsenal Twitter said about it.
Eh?
I don't know. That's like when MLS does the recycled jerseys every year.
I love those.
Yeah.
Love those.
I mean, yeah, like they're cool to like look at, but it's like, I don't know. Is you doing that? I don't know. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. I don't like it. I understand like the reasons for it, but I just wear your normal kits.
I like some of the one-off stuff. Like when Chelsea ran the old school like 70s FA Cup kit for one match last year, 2 years ago. Love that. But for the social justice reasons, I guess I'm not as much of a fan. And also, why not like sell them and then donate money to some fund or something? Like, at least fucking do something for it, you know. Pick a charity that focuses on some of this stuff, sell the kits for 2 days, and then, you know, donate 80% of the proceeds or whatever you want to do. Do something, because I feel like some good can come of it, but they kind of missed the boat.
That's at least what MLS does with those plastic ones. All the profit they make from that goes towards whatever foundation that is.
I think it's the like the garbage patch or the garbage thing that Boy and Slats company is trying to like remove or whatever. They're trying to like recycle
the plastic island or whatever it is.
Yeah, they're trying to devise ways of getting rid of the amount of plastic that's in the Pacific. So I think that all goes towards that, and it's all like they're all recycled jerseys, and then all of the money goes towards all that stuff.
Shameless plug. Hook up with Forward Madison FC. You want to talk about people with some real nice kits? That's where you got to go. Like, hook up with them. They come out with new kits almost every single month, and a lot of them are profitable kits. Like, they go to some sort of charitable donations. So I think that's where you have to go. And they have fantastic kits. Myself, Collins, we have them. I have Parker's. He wasn't able to make it to the game that day, but I do have Parker's. It's hanging up nicely. I promise. I haven't thrown it in a corner somewhere.
I believe you.
So,
shout out to Hummel, right? That makes those kits, because they're the company behind the Forward Madison ones.
Yep. Hummel makes a great kit. They've got, you know, the Everton ones, Southampton. I think they make the Danish national team. Like I love Everton's keeper kit. I love the Jordan Pickford kit, the black with the blue and the yellow. Oh, but dude, Matt, you're right. Forward Madison, just fire kits, and it pains me. I don't know why. It pains me that Madison has a better club than Milwaukee does.
As far as kits go, absolutely. And Parks, we're gonna have to find the time to get you down to one of those games. And
hell yeah.
No, like their jerseys. Right, Collins, we looked at that. It comes out almost every single month. They have a new one.
Yeah.
Like we saw kits that were like, what the hell is that?
Like they've only been around for 2 years, and everybody in the crowd had a different one, seemingly.
Yeah.
I felt that way at going to a Loons game up here in Minnesota, where they do enough like variants that, you know, they kind of do 2 main ones, an off one, and then like a couple of the MLS sponsored ones. So MLS does like the kick out cancer, and then like you said, the recycled ones and stuff. So you do enough of those, and you have enough variety in the stands. But the funny thing is then the color palette is everywhere. So it's a little bit out there, but I don't know. I kind of like it.
Every year, Sporting Kansas City is my MLS team. I'm originally from Kansas City. And every year they do a throwback to the Kansas City Wizards days, and they wear a special kit. Every year I tell my sister, who lives down there, that she needs to go and pick me up one, and she just has yet to do it. But this showing the guys currently what it was this year.
Sweet.
And just fire kit.
Oh,
it's awesome.
Rainbow sleeves, light blue piping up the side, Wizards logo. Oh, it's fantastic. So, you know, I take that back. I had said earlier about Arsenal that I don't understand why they release so many different kits, and I don't know. If they're throwbacks, if they're done in good taste, I guess I like them.
I guess the Arsenal one, just it it's leaving us more confused than anything, and I think that's the problem with it. You don't want to flip on a match and be like, what in the hell are they wearing, or what is going on here? And so I think that's the biggest thing for me when a club does something cool and kind of throws back to something for a couple matches, that's fine, but it has to still kind of feel like an Arsenal kid or feel like a Chelsea kid or feel somewhat on brand. So when someone goes completely all white, which is sort of an unprecedented move, I don't know. People are just like, what is this? What am I looking at here? Who is this team that's traditionally red in all whites?
And there weren't even names on the back of the kits, just numbers.
I don't necessarily mind that. I think that's a throwback.
I honestly, I don't mind that either, but you have to have some contrast. White kits, white shorts, white socks. The company Fly Emirates was white. The crest was damn near white. The numbers were white. Like, I get the message, but if you're somebody who wants to follow the game and understand who everybody is, especially in an FA Cup match where you have young kids coming out and you're trying to look for numbers to try and keep up, you have no idea who is who.
I'm sure the commentators had a fucking nightmare with it.
Yeah, so
they were miserable. They were absolutely miserable.
With Arsenal having like 8,000 red cards in the Arteta era, do you think that's a ploy for them not to get carded this week? Because the ref can't write them down in his book? What number are you? Come all the way over here. I can't see you.
Whatever they did, Collins, it didn't help because they lost to Nottingham Forest.
Yes, they did.
Champions
and what a
nothing.
game that was.
No,
Arsenal did not look threatening that entire game.
So Nottingham Forest won the Champions League like back in the 60s or 70s or something. I guess the fans were chanting in the stadium today, like, "Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that."
Yep. Yes, they did.
So good.
The one thing that I have is Arsenal has won the FA Cup 4 of the last 8 years. Boys, I can see by your reactions. Our listeners cannot see that, but I can see by your reactions. So a lot of people are treating this like it's a big deal, right? Like, everybody's looking forward to it. It's the FA Cup. Like, you do everything you can. Like, it's a big deal. Is it really a big deal if Arsenal has won it 4 of the last 8 years?
No.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the FA Cup to me is, don't get embarrassed. Like, don't lose to a non-league side kind of a cup. If you make it to the quarters or the semis and you bow out, like, that's fine. It's definitely not the primary focus for Chelsea or some of the bigger clubs. So I mean, it's something. It's definitely not nothing to win it, but it's also not where everyone puts their primary focus. So it's not much.
That's okay. That's just about what I was going to say. Where it's, if you're a top 6 club, if you're Chelsea, if you're Arsenal, whatever, like, yeah, get to the
hey, top 6.
Sorry, you're Chelsea, you're West Ham. You get to
Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester. You get to like the quarterfinals and you're good, right? But I think it's different because we don't live there. From everything I've seen, it's like, the magic of the FA Cup. The FA Cup is like March Madness for them, where it's, Cinderella can 16 upsets of 1, and it's like, but at the end of the day, like, no one, like, dude, I don't remember who won any of the last Final Fours from the last 5, 6, 7 years. And I feel like the FA Cup is the same, where it's like, we won, and then no one fucking remembers because all that's worth is a Europa League spot.
Yeah, I think the magic comes in the matches where, like, had Chelsea drawn, on this week, then they would go over there and play the away leg there. And so like that's where some of the magic comes, where a Manchester United or a City or a Chelsea play at a ground that has like 2,800 seats. That's where some of the magic and fun comes of it. But yeah, it shouldn't be, what Arsenal kind of says. This should be what you lead with, is all I'm trying to say. Like, they shouldn't be happy that they've won for the last 8 and that's it. They should be like, oh, also we won 4 of the last 8 after, other accolades. It should be an afterthought and not necessarily what they lead with. But
you know who hasn't won a trophy in a long time is Spurs.
It's been a long time.
That's a great follow. I don't know what the exact Twitter handle is, but it's like days since Spurs last won a trophy, and it's in like the couple thousands now, and it's fantastic. And they post every day what the day is.
It is @_Spurs Trophy. Spurs Trophies. It is 5,068 days since the trophy. Yes, Matt. Yes. 5,068.
For reference, that's 13.88 years.
Number of FA Cup wins since Spurs last lifted the trophy. Arsenal has 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Chelsea has 2, 4, 6, 7. United has 5. Liverpool has 3. City has 2. Everton has 1. Leicester has 1. Portsmouth has 1, and Wigan has 1.
For reference,
I remember when Wigan won it. They got relegated the same year.
Well, for reference, Portsmouth is now in League 3 or League 2 or whatever it's called.
They do the best they can.
Spursy.
Everyone's a winner.
Days since an FA Cup, 11,191. It's a great follow. It provides a lot of really fun stats.
It's the one account that I have my notifications on for, because I love seeing it every morning.
#Spursy. Man, we didn't emphasize enough how Spursy that goal truly was. That was absolutely hilarious. I can't remember who put that ball in. I think it was, I want to say it was Ziyech, but I don't remember exactly.
I think it was.
Yeah. Off of Tanganga, and then
Ben Davies.
Ben Davies. It was Tanganga's clearance off of Davies. That
so wasn't it like off his face too?
So
I think so.
All right, let's be honest. Let's flip everything. Had that been Chelsea, would you have been like, oh fuck, like that's just shit luck?
If it was in December, yes. I've been like, oh fuck, well, shit.
Of course.
No,
I mean, it was shit luck.
It was.
And like it wasn't a bad clearance. Like, he was doing the right thing. He just happened to, go.
He found him. Found you.
Double doink.
Went after it.
I like the double dunk shout out. That was classic.
Cody Parkey.
So Parker had his moment of like shouting people out. Matt, shout out to you, man. You you brought up like, where is Ziyech? Like, he was on such a hot run for such a long time. And yeah, dude's back. I mean, oh man, you need to really like legit go back and watch that Spurs game, because it is just peaches and butter and dimes, and it's Ajax Ziyech.
It was how, when we used to play FIFA and basically all of the credit would go to whoever passed the ball and not necessarily who scored the goal, like because the pass was always better than the goal. He had like 6 of those, and they didn't turn into goals. But he still did the work.
But no, I'm honestly excited to watch that match. After hearing everything that you guys have said about it, I'm super excited to watch that and to fully grasp everything that you guys were telling me and everything that you guys saw.
It's a fun one. We haven't been able to say that in a while, but it was a fun one. Almost like disappointing. It only was 2-0. Like it could have been far more and better. If it was like 6-0, I would be like, oh, we could just like send our U18 team out there and who cares, right? It's not that level yet, but I still think we're going to see a reduced squad midweek so we could put our focus on the city match on the weekend.
So can we just real quick acknowledge, with that one being a fun one, how weird it is that as soon as New Year's hit, we're seeing a different team. Like the 29th, we draw 1-1 against Brighton. And then January 2nd is the best game of the year easily against Liverpool. And then we dominate Spurs and we kick the shit out of Chesterfield, like a match that we shouldn't kick the shit out of somebody. I don't get it. You got the Cubs with the goat, the Billy Goat. You got the Red Sox have the curse of Babe Ruth and all that. What kind of curse is Chelsea under here that like December just blows?
I don't know, but our manager saw it through, and he is still our manager. And the thing that I was thinking a lot about this week was like how he handled this this Lukaku situation. I think we're gonna like look back in a few years and be like, this was one of the moments that Tuchel really took charge and solidified like his presence and his system and the way he does things. And it was one of those like make or break moments. So I'm just happy that we're out of December, still in, we'll call it striking distance of the league, and still in 5 competitions, and we still have our manager. That to me is a win. But I don't know. I don't know why we have that like weighted blanket on us in December.
And Collins, the thing that I've told you, and I've said it on the pod, Tuchel does not make a wrong comment. In his interviews and anything that he does not make a wrong comment. He is very honest. He is very forthcoming, but he doesn't pull a Jose Mourinho and throw anybody under the bus. He's very true to himself. He's true to his system. He's true to the club that he's managing. I have yet to find anything wrong with any presser that he has done, with anything that he has said, with any of his, post-game comments. I have a hard time finding anything wrong about him and how he reacts to any and all situations.
And to think like the December shitty run, under Frank, it was like loss, win, draw, loss. We're unbeaten in 10 now in our last 10. Our last loss is to West Ham on December 4th.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, too many draws, but still unbeaten in a month. Not bad.
I think the biggest thing for us was we looked like we could be scored against for a really long time. And now that's definitely out the window. I mean, we had pod after pod where it's like, yeah, our prediction is 3-0 because it doesn't look like anyone's going to score against us. You couldn't say that anyone's going to score against us because no one would. No one did for a long time. So that's, I think, the sort of regression to the norm a little bit was our defense is going to let in goals, but we stay in every match that we're in. That's, I think, our sort of our DNA of our team is that we're not going to get blown out, and we're going to be in every match, and we're going to be close, and it might lead to more draws. But if all of those losses become draws and then we still win a good amount, I think we're in decent shape still.
So here's a question for everybody.
Gun to your head.
No, I wouldn't say gun. I wouldn't say gun to your head. I would say maybe knife to your head. Who is your starting 11 as it stands right now?
Everybody healthy?
No, as it stands right now. Who is your starting 11?
Okay, I've got mine. If you guys want to hear mine,
Go ahead.
all right. So Kepa in goal. I think we can all agree on that one, right?
Yeah.
Back three of Trev, Silva, and Rudy.
Yep.
And then a midfield / wingbacks of Ziyech, Conte, Kova, Alonso, Mount, and then Ramen Timo. 3-4-1-2, or yeah, 3-4-1-2. Cho was a very close, like, if I change formation, he's in, but just didn't make it. Probably first sub off the bench.
So I'm not sure what I'm running right now, but I have my starting 11.
Okay.
Kepa in goal, Trev, Thiago Silva, Rudy. I'm going out on a limb. I'm doing it. I want Lewis Hall at left back.
Oh, boy.
I want him. I want somebody confident, somebody aggressive, somebody who has some pace. Going up against right wings in the Premier League, yeah, I want somebody who can actually track back. Alonso is slow, and if anything, he's going to draw a foul or a penalty. I want Dave as the right wing back because you have Trev to cover him. I want Conte and Kova in the midfield. I want Ziyech on the right. I want Cho on the left. I want Mount as a central attacking mid and Ram up top. So kind of a 5-2.
One too many people in there.
Yeah, I've got you at 12.
Yeah, I think you have 12 in there. Because I have a very similar lineup, but I don't have Mount. And I don't know where Mount fits in your lineup. Mount is the 12th man.
Hey, if they don't ask, they don't know.
They didn't catch anything.
We're American. We don't know anything about soccer anymore.
Yeah, so I'm Kepa, Rudiger, Silver, Trev. I could kind of go either way on Christensen or Trev at this point, but I'll put Trev in there.
Who's Silver?
Huh?
Who's Silver?
Silver? Silva. I have Alonso because of experience. Conte, Kova. I have Aspi as my other wing back. And then I have Hudson Odoi as left wing. I have Kai up top, and I have Ziyech as my right wing. It's my 11.
No Ram, no Timo.
Correct. Or Mount, which is probably the bigger snub. Mount and Ziyech are close, but I think I would have to put Ziyech out there today. I probably will get roasted alive for that.
All right, so Parks is my adjustment. I would honestly put Ziyech above Mount right now. I think Mount in my formation because I have to get rid of one of them apparently.
Apparently.
Bullshit.
Ukrainian rules.
Canadian. The Premier League doesn't have rules. We've seen how they handle COVID.
Aussie rules, Premier League.
It's great football. I would put Ziyech over Mount right now, and I would still keep Rom up top.
I had Rom in and I crossed him out. I think, to my point that I made earlier in the pod, I just think we press better without Rom. So it's not for goal scoring or attacking purposes. It's more for that press purposes. I think Kai's a little bit more active. So,
I'm looking at it more of a outlet perspective, where you can obviously throw the ball out to Rom, big target. You can control it, and then you can kind of feed off of that. So that's kind of where my thought is with Rom. I'm not, as much as this pains me to say it, I'm not expecting him to score goals. I'm expecting him to be that Olivier Giroud type hold-up player to link up Ziyech, and then you have Cho, then you have Kova coming in, and you can do a lot of damage with that, and then you can have obviously Pulisic coming in off the bench, and you can have Kai coming in off the bench. That's just kind of the way I see the best 9, or the best 11, I should say.
Well,
we added it to the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say if Kova is scoring off of his back foot wonder strikes, then who needs Rom?
Can we add it to the pot after dark drinking game that anytime you reference Olivier Giroud, we drink? Dude, you
Done.
Olivier.
Yeah, there we go. Lewis Hall in your ideal 11 over Alonso.
Alonso is fucking trash. We've seen the work rate out of Lewis Hall, and we know that he can at least defend better than Marcos Alonso. He's able to track back. He's able to stop balls. He's able to distribute. He's able to move forward and attack. I personally think that Lewis Hall is going to be a better left back than Alonso. I think he's going to be a lot better than Saul until Chilwell gets back. I am all in favor, honestly, right now, of bringing back one of our left backs, or going out and finding a left back on a 1.5 year long deal, and having Hall be that secondary left back that can control the game and do what he needs to do. So I am Hall over Alonso all day.
Okay, so I'm not an Alonso fan. I'm not a Marcus Alonso fan in the slightest.
No.
I am Alonso to the moon. But dude, I don't know. Lewis Hall is a midfielder by trade. We're playing Chesterfield, which is a non-league club, semi-pro, probably a little bit more than semi-pro, but not fully professional. I don't know. I think for as good as his work rate is, somebody like a Raheem Sterling, we're not going to face Mo Salah against, who's a bad example, but like a Mikel Antonio, somebody's going to expose him. And I think it's going to lead to more goals than Alonso would. I mean, you look at Alonso's stats, and as bad as he is, like passing the eye test, statistically, he's not bad. He's offensively ranked as one of the better wing backs in the league. He is about middle of the pack defensively, and passing, he's, again, middle of the pack. Looking at the percentiles, I think until they sign someone new, until they sign somebody who's not a midfielder by trade, until they sign somebody who's not 17.
Serginho Dest.
Yeah, but like Serginho Dest. I think Alonso is the best left wing back we have on the roster. And you can drink because I just referenced statistics.
I think he's the best left wing back we have. It gets more interesting if we go to a back four, like what do you do? But if you keep the system, I prefer Alonso. The other thing we don't talk about a ton because we don't like Alonso, but he does do some decent things on the attacking side. He does put some good balls in the box. He does provide a little bit of attacking prowess. So I don't know. He still does some positive things. He's still a threat from the free kick spot, or from putting balls in or scoring goals from free kicks. So, and he's experienced, and I have not seen enough out of Lewis Hall yet. The other point I was going to make was, Sar's debut, Cho's debut, Trev's debut have all been like phenomenal. And then you've seen some of a regression back to a little bit of reality. So people on their debuts for Chelsea this season have been, somewhat phenomenal. And then we've seen somewhat of a reality set in. And I think you might get a little bit of that with Lewis Hall, as you will with everybody. Everyone has up games, down games. So nothing against him, but I think, like you said, Collins, he'll let goals in. He'll be exposed at some point, and he's definitely young and good defender, but we'll, I don't know, not my best 11 today.
And not like you said, not to knock him. He had a great debut. He clearly has the talent. And Matt, you and I talked about this when we were watching the match, and that the work rate of the academy guys, him and Harvey Vale, even Lewis Baker to an extent, is just fantastic. Like watching them pressure the keeper on a back pass, watching them, pin guys deep in the corner. That's what I love to see. That's what I want to see. That's one of the things that Lewis Hall did really well. And Parker, you mentioned the pod, is when he set up that goal. He gave up the ball, but then continued the pressure and got it back. I think that's great. But, I honestly think Lewis Hall is probably destined for maybe a League One loan next year, maybe a championship loan. But yeah, it sucks that he had it's good, but it also sucks that he had such a good debut, because now, he's going to have the weight of Chelsea fans on top of him here.
Yeah, and you guys said it, like, he had a great debut. I think I don't think he really did anything wrong. He put out a great performance, and honestly, I don't think that Marcos Alonso would have put out as good of a performance. I don't think he would have tracked that ball down that led to the Rom goal. I don't think he would have done that. You have to remember, Lewis Hall also had a great shot that led to I forgot whose goal that was.
Is it Christensen's?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, he had a great left-footed strike that led to it. Like he hit that ball well. So it was a good stop by the keeper, but I mean, he's not afraid to, we always say, shoot your shot. He did, and it produced a great result. And it doesn't go down in the stat book, which it should. He should have had 2 assists on the day. But to me, I personally trust him more than Alonso right now. Alonso, I don't trust him to, when he does make his move forward to attack or to try and, high press, I don't trust Alonso to get back. I'll definitely trust Lewis Hall to get back. We all know Alonso's slow. He is. Nobody's going to argue that. And to have some young, fresh legs who's trying to make an impact, yeah, I think that's somebody who you want in that left back position, unless you sign a Serginho Dest. Obviously, Luca Digne, he's with Villa now, but there are plenty of other left wing backs that we can go out and sign, but I just think right now he should be looked at as a potential number 2 competing for a number 1. But I would still put him above Alonso.
And he's a number 1.
He's 17. Alonso's what, 30? 29? All I'm saying is that I think Hall should edge him out if it were to be a competition. That's who I would want as my left back, not Alonso.
As mentioned earlier, pay Rudiger so we don't have to go buy 8,000 center backs this year.
Think he's earned it.
I really don't fit. I really don't think that Matthias de Ligt fits the mold that Thomas Tuchel wants. I really don't.
I always think take the known commodity. Take what you know.
Yeah.
We know what we're getting with Rudy. Take that all day.
Like de Ligt, obviously he's younger and whatever, he has time to grow, but you know what you're going to get out of Rudiger. You know you have that big bruising center back. You have that John Terry-esque, that Gary Cahill-esque center back that's, when push comes to shove, they have no problem fucking somebody up and just getting a yellow. That's fine by them. But I think that is a large gamble to take on somebody that played in a soft league at Barca, and still I think a relatively soft league at Serie A. Go to the Premier League and then let's see what you're made of. And I don't think right now he fits the system or the price tag that he is worth.
Yeah, but now we're all assuming that Rudy's going to resign, and so that leaves Christensen as the man out, right? So what's stopped the club from signing de Ligt as a Christensen replacement?
About 70 mil.
Less 30 mil or whatever you get for Christensen.
Right.
No.
Free transfer.
de Ligt is going to be about 120. Christensen is about 30.
And he might be on a free transfer, actually, now that I think of it.
And like we said in the club, you're going to be selling Kepa. There's probably going to be additional players going out, such as Ziyech, maybe Pulisic I've seen possibly going out. You're going to have money to splash this year. So why not sign a 22-year-old who has been capped by the Dutch national team since 19, has played just about every match in Serie A for the last 4 years. He has top experience. He's a guy who can distribute out of defense. That's one of the things he's known for, which is something that right now all we have is Thiago Silva who can do that, who's going to be gone after next year. So I don't know. I'm all for splashing the cash on a young, proven defender.
I like everything you just said.
I don't. If this year has been any indication, you have to splash it on wingbacks. Because like on the right side, we're fine. We have Dave, we have Reese, right? We're comfortable on that side. On the left side, we have Chilwell and then Alonso. That we all know our thoughts about Alonso. It's not going to cut it. It to me, it seems like you need to solidify the defense. We have enough going forward. Even if you do sell Ziyech, even if you do sell Pulisic, like we have enough going forward. You have Cho, you have Mount, you have Timo if he doesn't get sold. You have Ram, you have Kai. Potentially you have Harvey Vale who maybe comes up. Then you're looking at Billy Gilmore coming back, Conor Gallagher coming back. So I think you have enough going forward. I think you need to really solidify the defense and get that number one and number two on each side of your wing backs.
But do you really need to splash the cash to do that? One thing we've seen in January so far is that you don't need to spend a lot of money. Digne is going for 25 mil, and he's the most expensive at this point. Serginho Dest was going to be 16 mil. I've seen a couple other wing backs at 16 or 17 mil. Adama Traore is going for 20 mil. You can get probably 5 or 6 wing backs to really splash the cash. But I don't know. I think honestly getting a winger who can defend, play wing back, is kind of a dime a dozen at the moment.
Well, you're certainly not going to get that out of Adama Traore. He barely makes it past the halfway line. No, I think for me, you need to solidify the defense. So you need somebody who can move forward, but is also a little bit more defense minded. Not so much attack.
Delict.
I'm talking about wing backs.
Defense.
I'm talking about wing backs. Wing backs. You have to solidify that. We've seen that this year, how much it hurts when you lose your number one on both sides, right? I think you need to solidify that before you worry about going forward and worrying about like somebody who can be like a right wing or a left wing that can maybe track back. I think you need to solidify your defense before I think you need to be in the thought of you solidify your defense more than you solidify your offense.
My take is that the fact that we can have like players like Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi like step in as wing backs or pseudo wing backs or whatever you want to call them, to Collins's point, makes them more a dime a dozen or makes them more sort of transferable, not big name or not big transfer dollar spending types of positions that you need to focus on. That said, I think solidifying your defense would be signing like a Delict, like signing someone that would replace Christensen and being somewhat of a replacement for Silva long term, because he's 37 and he signed a 1-year deal, and we're all very happy about that, but he ain't gonna play forever. So signing a young center back might be a good future move for the club. I think, the wing back position is important. I think Alonso is definitely a weakness of our team. But I don't think it's like the most crucial role, because when we talked about like Mo Salah, he would get bodied by Rudiger for every time that he kind of came down. And sure, he scored against Alonso, and I acknowledge that, but he also got bodied by Rudiger, who plays in that center defensive role as well. So I think the center defensive role, those three are more important than the wing back in general for our defense. So I think the wing back is less important.
I understand. But if you have, I forgot what the number is that Chelsea can spend in this window. I think it's like 200 mil. Do you want to blow half of that on a center back?
Maybe, and maybe not this window. I don't necessarily think it's like a necessity to sign this window, but I think it's a necessity to sign either this or next. And I don't possibly, and I think that's probably net spend. So to Colin's your point, like if we move Kepa for 60, that's another 60 towards that for the good. So that's net spend today, and then we can move some pieces around to spend more. So I think we're going to see like 3 or 4 moves in the next couple of windows. I think maybe 1 this window and then 2 or 3 in the next of, call it the $20 to $80 million spendings. So I think we're going to see a couple.
And what sucks about the January window is that players who have played in Europe from June until December cannot transfer and play in Europe for another team for the second half of the season. So that, I mean, Theo Hernandez for AC Milan was rumored, but there's now a rumor that AC Milan are offering him a contract. Serginho Dest would not be able to play in Europe. I can't think of the other one on top of my mind here, but I mean, honestly, we're probably going to have to go dumpster diving into the championship or into the lower part of the league for a wing back, which sucks. But I mean, ultimately, this is a short-term fix. If you're looking at left wing back, ultimately you have next year Chilwell as your starter, Alonso as your second string, which as a second string is no big deal. And on the right, if you re-sign Dave, again, it's ideally a position that's filled. So I think if they're looking for a loan, that's fine. But for them to spend more than 25 mil on a wingback in January, I think is going to be tough.
Watching the Arsenal Nottingham Forest game, Jude Spence, watching him go, God, he looks fun. This is somebody who was playing defense. He was making runs. I saw him go past 3 Arsenal players before he got taken down for a yellow. And even 80th minute of the game, just hauling ass going forward, like full speed. That's somebody who I would want. I think that's somebody that would fit Tuchel's system. And you look at a team like Nottingham Forest. Okay, we'll give you 10 mil for him. Fine. We'll fit him into our system. And he can work. I was very much impressed with how he played watching that match. And so Parks, you alluded to like how much fun the FA Cup is to watch, like some of these young players and have them get a trot out. Watching this guy go and just haul ass and just body people against Arsenal. Granted, Arsenal, they didn't have their strongest lineup or anything like that. but like he was making moves. He was bodying people on the defensive side. He was attacking forward. He was making runs, even with the ball. Like he was just going all out. I think that's somebody that would fit Tuchel's system, and you could probably get him for about 10 mil.
Yeah.
Like, to me, the FA Cup is an audition for a lot of these lower league clubs to essentially try and make some money. Like, yeah, we're going to put our best people out there. We're going to show you like what we have, and, you know, come to us if you see something you like. Judd Spence, I would be all about it because he played absolutely flawless today, and I think he would fit that system perfectly, and that would be a very cheap, easy, you know, Chelsea coming to Nottingham Forest. We're gonna pay you 10 mil for this person. Okay.
To Collins's point, I think that we have to sort of search in those places, Matt. Like we have to dumpster dive a little bit, but like just kind of like look in the not big name, like that second tier of player that stands out with performances like that. That's where we're gonna have to find to plug holes for our very unfortunate injury circumstance.
And for reference, Jed Spence worth $2.5 million. So yeah, that'd be perfect.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
Give him 5 mil. We'll take him. The thing is, he's tall too. Like he is tall. He is relatively lanky, but he is strong. Like watching the run where he basically bodied 3 Arsenal players and just went right through them, and you know, his footwork and his pace and everything like that is work rate. I think he'd be perfect, especially for that cheap of a deal. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, he's currently on loan.
With who?
From Middlesbrough.
Bruh.
Bam. Bam.
Pay that man.
Pay that man.
I'm all potted out.